Hi guys! So it is Wednesday, May 20th, and I am here to teach you Bible. And we are learning one of my all-time favorite stories. And I know I said that about Daniel when I taught Daniel, but Esther really is one of my favorite books in the Bible because it has everything I love. It has just such a great story and such a great message, and I love reading it, and I have read it so many times. So you have been doing your packet. So go ahead and take out lesson 2, and I'm going to go over the answers for those so that you have them. And don't forget that the PowerPoint behind me is on Runweb for your convenience. So Mordecai wanted Esther to go before the king, who was her husband, and to plead with him not to kill her people. Okay, and back in this time, in Esther's time, you were not allowed to go in front of the king unless you were invited by the king itself. And by going without being asked, you actually risked dying because of it. So you risked your life. So she was about to risk her life. So Esther was afraid to go to her husband because of a law that said anyone who goes before the king without an official invitation could be killed. Okay. Mordecai told Esther that God may have prepared her and caused her to become king at this time in order to help her people. Okay? What was Esther's attitude? She was willing to do God's will in spite of what might have happened to her. How do you know that God had prepared the king's heart before Esther came? Even though he had not summoned her, he held out his scepter to her, signifying that he was pleased with her. Okay. Haman planned now to I skipped this one right here. So Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet. Haman was filled with even more pride. Okay, Haman planned now to build a gallows and have Mordecai hanged on it. And then that night the Lord reminded the king that Mordecai had once saved his life but had not been rewarded for it. Okay, and that's where the story leaves you. So I'm sure this is hard to see on the video, but remember that you have this and it's nice and clear on the computer screen, I promise. So I'm going to review what you learned really quickly with Miss Garcia. So in Esther 4, you learned about how Mordecai is asking for Esther's help. And so Esther responds saying that no one can enter the king's inner chamber without being summoned. And Mordecai responds by saying that this is your chance to save your people. If you don't, God will find someone else. So God will still save his people, but you may not be the one who saves them. Okay, and Esther decides to risk her life for her people because by going in front of the king, she was risking her life. Okay, so in Esther 5, Esther goes to the king and makes a request, and Haman plans to kill Mordecai. And then in Esther 6, just like it said at the bottom here, God reminds the king that Mordecai saved his life and he should be honored for saving his life. And that's where you leave the story. And with me, we are reading Esther 7 through 8, and you're going to see how the king executes Haman, and he also has a decree to help the Jews. So you're going to need to read Esther 7 through 8 and then complete page 3. So again, I hope you're enjoying this story because it's, like I said, it's one of my favorites, and I hope it's one of your favorites as well when we're done. So this is a very short video, but that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.